Hello everyone. Today I'm going to start a session for HR people only. The first elective subject for HR people is International Human Resource Management. The first topic in that subject is International Human Resource Management definition, importance, features, and functions. Now I'm going to start the definition of International Human Resource Management. In the second semester, we have studied about human resource management. So, human resource management nothing but managing employees or proper utilization of human resources for the development of organization. So, here in International Human Resource Management, managing employees or HR activities, we are mainly focusing at national and international level. So here the definition is given that IHRM is defined as the set of activities aimed managing organizational human resources at international level to achieve organizational objectives and achieve competitive advantage over competitors at national and international level. So what does it mean? Set of activities. What are those activities? Those are HR activities. That is called recruitment, selection, training, compensation, and performance management, and maintaining relations with the employees, that is called industrial relations, to manage internal operations of a company. So these activities, these HR activities are done at international level. Then it is called International Human Resource Management. So there are three categories of employees they mentioned here: parent country nationals, host country nationals, third country nationals. So the employees are divided or categorized into three categories: PCN, HCN, TCN. First one is parent country nationals. What does it mean? Employees belonging to the country where a company's headquarters are located are called as parent country nationals or home country nationals. Suppose if you take an example, Google is located at America. Suppose an employee is from America, American citizen is working in America in Google company, then it is called parent country national, because employee belonging to the country where a company's headquarters are located. So Google is located in America and the employee is from America, then he is called parent country national. Whereas host country national, employees belonging to the country where the company has set up a subsidiary. That means Google has a subsidiary in India, and a person from India working in Google company, then he is called host country national, because Google company's headquarters is located at America, its subsidiary is located at India, and the employee is from India. So the employee is called host country national. Coming to third category, third country national means employee who work in the home or host country facility of the company but are not nationals from either are called third country nationals. Suppose a Chinese person is working in Google company in India, then he is called third country national, because Google's headquarters is located in America and its subsidiary located in India, but the Chinese person is an employee of Google company. He does not belong to either India or America. So he is from third country. So that's why he is called third country national. So these are the three categories of employees. Parent country nationals, where the company's headquarter is located and the employee belonging to the particular nation. Host country means where the company's where the company's subsidiary is located and the person is from. Person means employee is from that country only. Third country means other than these two countries. The third country national. And also international HRM also means dealing with the issues related to different countries, expatriation, repatriation, and cross cultural issues. And we will discuss about these issues later in detail. Features of international human resource management. So, what are the main features of international human resource management? The same features which you studied in the second semester, that is in human resource management, the same you will study here only. Right people at right place at right time, placing a right candidate at right place at right time. So that is called the human resource planning. Already we have studied in second semester, but here we are focusing at national and international level. And developing long run HR planning, that is called human resource planning. And growing diversified variety of abilities for various workers, because you are recruiting employees from different countries and different cultures and different regions. So variety of abilities for various workers. So that is called diversification. Determining compensation for home, host, and third country nationals. So there is a difference in compensation for home country nationals and host country nationals and third country nationals. So what is that? How much you have to pay? That is called compensation. Next, formation of centralized reporting relationships worldwide. So formation of centralized reporting relationship, because you have a company, suppose example Google has a company, its headquarters located at America and it has a subsidiaries in all over across all the countries, and it should have a centralized reporting relationship because there is a proper communication system. Next one, informal and formal techniques for the effective integration. There are lots of techniques we have studied in human resource management, and proper training techniques and performance measurement techniques and performance improvement also. So there are lots of techniques to develop, and in especially in the training session we need to develop a healthy relationship among the employees belonging to different cultures and different regions. Next one, developing an efficient evaluation system, that is called performance measurement or performance evaluation. So we need there are lots of techniques to evaluate performance of an employee, that is called performance appraisal system, we can say that. Next one is a good understanding of cultural dimensions. This is more important because when you are recruiting an employee from different country or from different religion or different region, so there is a problem of culture, because these employees are from different cultural backgrounds. You need to develop a relation between the employees belong to different cultures, and you have to create effective communication channels because you have a language differences between the employees who differ because they have communication problem of difference in their language. Suppose if you take an example, a person is recruited from America and another person is recruited from Chinese. So there is a problem of communication, how you are communicating with the employees and how employees are communicated with each other. For that purpose, you need to develop a good communication system to communicate with all the employees. And perception is different because employees perceive the things in different way, how they are understanding and how they are receiving, that is more important. And positivity, we need to develop positive thinking among the employees. Next, objectives of IHRM. What is the main intention, sorry, what is the main uh, objectives of, what are the main objectives of international human resource as international human resource management? To maintain the threats to international human resources. So you are utilizing resources across the world because you are recruiting employees from different regions and different cultures and different countries. So to maintain the threats to international human resources, we can say that proper utilization of human resources for the development of your organization by avoiding cultural related risks. The second point, avoiding cultural related risks. People have come from different cultures, but you need to develop a good communication system and good healthy relationship between the employees and to avoid the regional differences. If you take an example, employees belonging to same country also have regional differences, because in India, if you take an example, north and south, there are some differences, cultural differences and regional differences. So to avoid the regional differences is the main objective. To sustain local responsiveness. So what does it mean? Local responsiveness means a business mainly focuses on particular region and how that area people react to the product developed by this company. Suppose if you are launching a product in a particular company, particular location, what is the responsibility? What is the response by the locals? So based on their responsiveness, suppose I would like to launch a product in a particular location, I need to design the product according to their needs and wants. Because if you launch the same product in America, that will not work in India. So that is called local responsiveness. To deal with the diverse human resources. Diverse human resource means simply you are recruiting employees or you are giving employees employment to different culture background people. People from different cultures, different regions have to work together for your company. You need to develop a healthy relationship among the employees. That is called dealing with the diverse human resources. Suppose if the people are from same region and same place, you don't face any problem because their culture is same and their locality is same, their region is same, so you don't face any problem. But when you deal with the employees who are from different cultural backgrounds and who are from different regions, you will face some kind of problems like cultural differences, regional differences. So how to deal with the diverse human resources is an important thing. Training upon cultures and sensitivities of the host country. Suppose if you take an example, American culture is different, Indian culture is different, America has established a subsidiary in India and recruiting Indians as their employees. So there is a cultural differences. So you need to train the employees of the host country. Next one, to be able to transfer learning across the units that are internationally dispersed. So transfer of learning. So suppose if you take an example, just now I have said the example. Google has established a company, a subsidiary company in India. Transfer of knowledge to the employees because they have to work for Google company. We need to transfer learning units internationally to the employees. So that is the main objective. And the final one is to disperse the awareness of cross cultural sensitivities between employees and managers throughout the world. So this is just now I have explained because people are from different cultural backgrounds across the world, because it is international human resource management means you are recruiting or you are giving employees to who are from different countries and different regions. So there is a problem of cultural and any other differences. So you need to aware the people and you need to train the people. You need to develop proper communication system among the employees irrespective of their culture, region and their country and everything. So these are the main objectives of international human resource management, and we need to understand the differences between domestic HRM and international HRM. So what is the difference between domestic and international HRM? So domestic HRM focuses at national level only. Means suppose India means you are recruiting and placing employees at national level only. Suppose a person from Telangana can work anywhere in India. That is national level. That is called domestic HRM. Whereas international HRM means Indian can work outside India. Suppose Indian is employed in America, then it is called international level. Concerned with managing employees belonging to one nation only. In domestic HRM, we are concerned with the managing employees belonging to one nation, means we are focusing employees belong to our nation only. India means Indians only. Here in international HRM, concerned with the managing additional activities such as expatriate management. What do you mean by expatriate? We will discuss it later. Next, less complicated due to less influence from the external environment. Because less complicated, because there is no cultural difference, there is no regional difference, there is no language problem. So there is no external environment impact in domestic HRM. Whereas in international HRM, there is a complexity because it is affected by the external factors such as cultural distance and other factors, cultural, regional, religious and anything, lots of factors are influencing. So these are the main differences between domestic HRM and international HRM. So now the session, I am going to close the session, and in the next session I am going to explain the dimensions of international HRM, and if you have any doubts, clearly mention in the comment section. I will clarify all your doubts. Thank you.